everyone, it's Paisley, and I'm here to show you how I paint sunflowers. I think sunflowers are great for any time of the year. They're one of my favorite flowers, but I think they're particularly great around the Halloween, autumn, Thanksgiving time. I think it's a great alternative at fall festivals when someone wants something very elegant but not necessarily scary. So in this design, I use a variety of colors, mostly Paradise paints. For my sunflowers themselves, I use Paradise Mango, and then I dip in Paradise Dark Brown, and my handy dandy Wolfe White. It's the best for getting a really bold white. You'll notice that for my stenciling, I use a very old cake from Silly Farm. I should probably retire it, but I love it so much. I think a similar cake that you can find is called Green Apple at Silly Farm, available now. And I really like this cake because it has just a hint of green mixed in with some golds, and what I really wanted was this gold. I also used another cake of my own design, but it's something you can find pretty much with anybody who does a rainbow cake. It's this. It's got yellows and greens, and it fades to a black, so I can get really dark leaves. The stencil that I'm going to be using is a BAM stencil. It's this one. I think it's really great for lattice work, which is why I put it in the background. And then just a regular old sponge. I have my Loew Cornell. I believe this is a 6. Yay, I really like this one. It's my new favorite brush. And then another technique you'll need for this design is doing a dry brush blending. Blah. And that's when you have wet paint, but you take a dry brush that doesn't have any paint or any water on it, and you blend and blend in. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be showing you today. Thank you very much to June, who showed up to do this. So what I'm doing right now is I'm stippling part of the green apple cake onto June's face. I want to go in a triangle type of shape. Before I put the sponge directly on June's face, I like to dab it just a little bit on a washcloth because you really want to make sure that your paint isn't wet. You want it to be kind of tacky, but not necessarily wet. So I'm going to start with the center flower. What I'm doing right now is I'm putting a placer dot, and that really helps me just, tell where I'm going to put the center of my flower. And this technique is called a double dip. So what I did is I loaded my Loew Cornell 6 with the mango, and I just dipped the tip of my brush in the dark brown. You can really see it right there. And I am taking the point of the brush and I am just pressing down. And I'm just going around in a central point so I can get that flower-like look. Now you'll notice that my flowers are not symmetrical. They never really are, but I think that a lot of flowers in nature are very rarely perfect. So I try to make my flowers just not very perfect. I think that's more my style. Imperfect. That describes me. And right now I'm just layering on top of what I've already put down, and this just kind of gives it more dimension. It just makes them look more full. Okay, and now I'm doing a different type of double dip with different paint. So again, I got my brush wet with Paradise Mango, and then I dipped the tip in my Wolfe White. So you'll notice that it kind of gives like a lighter yellow petal shape. And again, I'm trying to stick with that soft triangle style with those light yellow mango petals. And now I'm adding in some leaves. I use the handmade split cake with just a little bit of the black on my brush. You can see it right there. And I'm just flicking in spots where I think leaves might naturally lay. And I'm flicking away from the center of June's face. This is more flattering. And now I have just plain dark brown Paradise loaded onto my brush, no double dip. And I'm just drawing little circles right in the center. And here is my dry brush. All I'm doing is I'm just softly tapping and blending in that circle, just the outer edges. Sometimes people use sponges for this, or a chisel brush, or a feathered brush. But I find once you get a lot of practice with it, you can use pretty much whatever technique you want, and it gets the same effect. And then just some white teardrops, again with Loew Cornell and Wolfe White, just to really fill it in. And to be honest, if I was going to do this design again, I probably wouldn't put these teardrops right here. I think it would have looked a bit more daintier if I had filled it in with dots, but that's just a personal preference. I think sometimes I'm too hard on myself. And I'm filling on top of those lighter petals with just some dots. Again, just to fill things in, make things a little bit more dainty. And a little bit of highlights on top of the petals. That's really gonna make it pop, make it more 3D. And then putting some dots just on the background and the stencils in a very symmetrical order. And I'm thinking about it, yeah, should I? Yeah, I'm done. Thanks, June.